happened. This was back in the day when, when I guess when your son was smaller. We're not gonna say any words that'll get me, unmonetized. But I wanted you to have a chance to explain because things can grow. You know how things grow and they keep going and progressing. And I was like, she never told me about the child incident. What happened? So if you can
about the, you cut out. I don't know if they could hear you, but I couldn't hear you.
Okay, it was about what they were saying. What they were saying about, I guess that guy had put out about your daughter, about Oscar had put out about your daughter, saying that your daughter had touched your younger one, your son. And I'm like, what? So if you can clear that up, because you said that that's not how that happened at all.
My daughter's never done anything with my son.
Okay, and so when he was younger, you told me when he was younger that he wasn't what now?
And things like that. So my son's father is a mandated reporter. We spoke with the therapist and kind of find out my son had trouble adjusting to the move. And so
hold on, because I think you cut out. We didn't miss the first part. So start from when you were telling me you were questioning it because your son was having problems and he did not want to take a bath. Remember you were telling me that to start.
He didn't want to take a bath. He didn't want to. He wouldn't bathe himself, which I would bathe him anyway. But then when we moved, he had this thing where he just didn't want to take one. So as a mom and that change of behavior, I was worried about that. Like, did something happen with my son? Did anybody mess with him? Because those are the signs that you look for.
Right. And about how old was he then? Was he like 3 or 4 or what?
Yeah, he was little. He was probably, this was about first, he was either in kindergarten or first grade.
Okay, so then he was probably like about 5, maybe 5 or 6.
Like that. He was little, yeah, and not able to express himself. And at that time, we didn't know, but he had trouble with his fine motor skills. So he just, and the schools had mentioned that, so we just wasn't really sure what was going on with him.
Okay, so she wasn't sure what was going on. So what they did was they had a conference call, and her husband is a mandated reporter, she was saying. And plus, when you contact any type of social service about that, or a psychiatrist or whatever, a counselor or whatever, they are mandated to report anything if it's dealing with, anything that could be potentially, illegal or whatever, okay, harmful. So she said her husband reported it, and then they reported it. But
yeah, my child's father did, because it had, anything, even whether it's my child or not, like the bath thing really bugged me because he went from liking the water to not liking it. But we did switch houses. He did have problems with that. And this dude Oscar that's putting out those pressure receipts, he was complaining because what he's not putting out is the fact that he was upset because my son had spent like $600 online on Robux, and it was like 300 or 600, something like that, on Robux. And he was complaining because he said, I couldn't even buy him a jacket or a phone, but my son spends all that money online. It had nothing to do with my child. I think that it's pretty pathetic that they're trying to make this a storyline, because my daughter would not be in a house with my son if that was an issue.
Yeah, and it wasn't a storyline. It was just, we were talking about the events that happened. I adore me some cooking. We were over there, and I was just listening, and I said, I didn't know that, meaning, and I had heard that before, meaning, and I didn't have time to say.
No, I was bringing up these receipts because I told them I was worried about my daughter. I was like worried about it. I get very worried because of my past. I get not like any change of behavior. I'm always quick to contact a therapist, and Oscar would always call me with his 2 friends multiple times again and again, and he would try to listen and put things together when my child's father was talking to me. So he's trying to act like he has all this exclusive news about me. He doesn't. He just was whining about some money for a phone, and then they were also complaining because they're like, oh my God, Oscar can't sleep unless you call him, and I'm like, no, I need to spend this time with my daughter. And then they started complaining about that. No, those are receipts they need to put out there.
Okay, so
I put my receipts over them, but no, my daughter has never done anything to my son. And ZX has said that my son did something to my daughter, and all these people are just some manipulative liars. I don't know why they just don't leave me alone.
So ZX was saying that, hey, the Equalizer, my baby, how you doing? Really quick, y'all. The Equalizer did me a favor and found the video where 5 says she had 37K subscribers. I put it on my community wall. Y'all need to scroll down. That is an important video. It has urgent 5 on the front of it. She said, I have almost 37K subscribers. So she's going to be popped by the 29, okay, for lying once again. So shout out to the real Equalizer. Thank you for that. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that. Okay, Nicole. So getting back to that. So my thing is that you're saying that never happened. They did an investigation and it never went to court. So nothing was founded of it. Because you mentioned and said, you did tell me, you said, I wonder who did something to my, if somebody had did something because you had nannies at the time. And what else? See, these are things people didn't know. So that's why
my daughter is the closest person that, she's close to us. And so siblings, sometimes siblings do things to each other. So I was worried about all that stuff. My son wasn't really talking. And so it was a big thing, because then I had to then look at the nanny, but I thought it was weird because I'm always with them. They've never been with my kids alone. They're just in a house with us. So yeah, there was a lot of concern there. And then we were worried about things in the school because, again, my son had trouble with his fine motor skills. There was a lot going on, but trying to find out, it was just he had trouble adjusting to the move. It was nothing, but we did have it investigated like we should have, because of course we don't want anything to happen to our kids.
So do you think, okay, so when he was with the nanny, was the nanny bathing him or something? Is that what it was?
Never.
Okay, so y'all did, okay.
Yeah, so for me it was just weird. I would bathe him, but the only other person that would be with him is his sister. So we just didn't know why he stopped wanting to take a bath when it's pretty soothing. Right. My son at that time, he had a lot of trouble with adjusting to new places and things like that. So he had a lot of trouble when we switched houses, and it was just a concern. But because we were concerned, we ourselves, had it looked at. We had child psychologists speak to the kids, and I just didn't know, because for a parent, the bathing, those are things that you look for, and then you got to think about, okay, the child's in school. So to me, that was just really weird.
Right, that would have been true.
Yeah, so at that time, this dude Oscar put out those receipts, partial receipts. I stopped talking to him and I said, hey, I'm worried about my daughter and my son. I needed to figure this out. And so his friends started to whine about me not spending time with Oscar, who used to go by Problematic at that time, and my receipts, because I put them all out in full to show that he got upset. His friends were saying that this grown-ass man couldn't sleep unless I called him. And I said, I'm busy with my daughter. I'm worried about my daughter. And so he's editing those receipts. That's what they were calling about. And then they were whining because of how much money my son spent online. And he heard my child's father say that. And they would record all these phone calls asking for money. And that's really the bottom line.
Oh, wow. So that's the bottom
line. They tried to bring those charges back up in front of CPS. Didn't even make it in front of a judge. And it got red flagged for those kind of complaints as harassment. So if because there, I would be in jail. So would my
because they have to investigate it, and you wouldn't have got custody, and it would have been, I think it would have been reported that you would have been.
It would have been reported. And even when they tried to bring that up again, Oscar, it went nowhere. Nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been. It was already reported, but I mean, it would have been criminal, in other words, but it wasn't because it was criminal.
And my my daughter would have been in trouble, but again, that's all that it was. It was nothing more than that.
Right.
He got more upset about. He made a big deal about the money and what my son was spending. His friends started to say I needed to help him out. He wanted to sell drugs and he couldn't afford. He wanted me to send him first $200 so he can start selling marijuana. And he did. And then his friends said that, oh, I need to help him out financially. I need to send him gifts because he sent me a bear. They were really weird.
Where did these people come from, Nicole? Where did this group of people come from? Are they part of the nation?
From the UK.
See it. And I'm like, this guy is really running around
when Octavius came out with all that shit about me, I put out the receipts. It's like the actual receipts. He's the one that pursued me. He's the one talking about, yeah, I lied to her. I was trying to manipulate her. I never came out to that dude. Right?
One community.
Yeah. So the one time he asked me, he's like, oh, do you want to, he goes, oh, you're my ideal girl. Do you want to marry me? And I sent him like an emoji with like that smiley face with like a heart. But I was never interested in him. And I said that. And I told him to stop contacting me when I said, I'm like, hey, you're not serious. And then I said, hey, no, I got issues. I've always said I had issues with you know what and stuff like that. And when he tried to lie on Lady Snoop channel, I put all those receipts out disputing it. She still ran with that story talking about, oh, I did something to him. But my receipts clearly showed that he lied. He was the one calling me all the time, texting me again and again and again. And when I told him that I'm involved with someone, like, leave me alone. It was never that. We talked about channel stuff together. He lied, talking about I was coming on to him and I put those receipts out there. No, he was the one coming on to me. And he was like, oh, okay, you did call her. And she tries to blow it over for these guys. I didn't do shit to one community. I don't know why he's writing about me. And then because of that, he sent me another message talking about he was going to call CPS. That's exactly what the fuck happened with him.
Okay, be careful with the F word. I want to try and monetize this.
Sorry.
That's okay. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I found out too, because I found out a lot of things. You know, Cookie she's not bad. I love Cookie. She's a sweetheart. So let me tell you, it wasn't her coming for you. She was telling a story. She was going back in history on different things that happened on YouTube with Lady Law and stuff. And so it came up. So my thing is this is what she said started at the time. It started with Lady Snoop and Lady Law, because they were on there. They was on there and they for whatever, I guess they got mad. And I'm thinking because of these men, but I'm thinking because of one community. Okay, because this is what happened. So, and then all of a sudden they created this thing about, you with Uncle Should, right? And this is what I said. And this is what I said. And Cookie, she said that for the first time today, is that you never spoke up and said that he did not do it. And remember, Misunderstood, I said that was my thing with you. I said, you should have spoke up because that didn't look good because people ran with it and kept going. So can I ask you this once and for all, like, why at that time did you not speak up and say, Uncle Should he never did nothing to me or my kids. He never did that. Why would you not have said that at the time, babes?
We're talking about strictly about the M word, right? Not the other stuff, because he did do a lot.
No. The only thing I'm talking about is that word, the P word. That's the only thing I'm talking about.
I did speak up though. I did.
And at that time, I remember at that time it was going on. You said you had been high for days. So you didn't, when you were doing those interviews and you went to interview with Snoop and she was pretending like she was on your side and this and that until they got your daughter to speak out or whatever. And then she was, started flip flopping. So why at that time did you not speak up and say, that's not true? He didn't do that to my daughter.
Well, I feel that I did speak up and I did the best that I could. I told everyone just to go off the receipts that I used, and everybody wants to make it seem like he was so good to me. He wasn't.
No, I'm not gonna get, because I love me some shit, so I'm not gonna get into that.
I know, but I'm not gonna paint him out to be like this great guy.
I don't want that. But I'm just talking about
the keyword or touching my daughter, stuff like that. That didn't happen.
Right, that's it, and that's my whole thing. Because
and I've said that so many times. I said that to.
But the people were out running. But baby, listen, the people were out there running with it. Misunderstood. That's what I'm saying. The people were out there running.
But I felt like they should have went after those people, because if I didn't say it myself, like, I'm not a drug advocate, but if I said,
what Cookie said. Hold on, that's what Cookie said. She said she was not the only one to blame for that, because who started that? She said Lady Law and Snoop. That's exactly what she was saying earlier.
But people want to blame me and not blame the guys and the people that said it, because it's easier to blame me. And I have said publicly so many times that he didn't touch her, and you cannot compare him to Brother Polite. And that was the reason I had called Sandetter when they put that story out there. But everybody twisted it, talking about, I was trying to talk to Nepal's husband, and there's no receipts saying that. And even in my receipts, I called her a liar. So people just want to paint me a certain way. I really don't care, because I'm used to it. But I didn't put that narrative out there. And people expect a lot from somebody they want to call a junkie and all this stuff. I was the only one that spoke the truth in that moment, and I don't like it. I mean, of
course you're gonna be the only one to speak the truth.
I did say that. And when one community was talking about, like, I'm the one that found the video. I'm the one that found the video and commented on one community, and I don't like one community. And I said, why are you trying to get me to say something where you don't have to? I never said that he was a predator or a pedophile.
Oh my God, that ruined it. Okay, feel free to hit the cash app, y'all. It's okay.
I said that, and I pulled that video out, and he started going crazy, like, see, she cleared my name. No, I didn't clear your name, fool. I'm showing you that I have already said that, so why are you guys attacking me? And I showed the video where I did. I said that. I said it was nothing like Brother Play.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, yes, you did clear his name, but people are feeling like it should have been cleared sooner. I hear what you're saying.
That's their problem, because I did not run with that, and it's not my responsibility. I did what I could.